Well, good morning, Pascale. How are you?
Really good, thank you. Thank you very much. Let me introduce myself first, if you want. I have been a Kala therapist since 1991, and I'm also a healer, a Reiki master, tarot card reader, and I run meditation and spiritual development classes, as well as tarot classes. And this week I started a upward spiral course online. So it's the first time in my life I start a course online, which I think it was a little bit ridiculous. I should have done it a little bit earlier in my age, but anyway, here we go.
I think you've resisted well. It firmly divided our community when COVID came, and you either had the chance of being online or nothing. Then a lot of people chose the nothing.
So after more than 30 years in Victoria, 12 years in Queensland, and 5 years in the Northern River near Casino, I'm now in Ralston near Kandos. So it's on the other side of the Blue Mountains in Australia.
And
So I like to move all the time these days. So to talk about my Kala therapy, it used to be called spiral, but I changed the name in this year to upward spiral. And it is a Kala therapy system created in Australia in 2001. It is a combination of color, light, and energies. It's a mean to gaze at your soul and to reach a better understanding of the self. In choosing our favorite color, we actually allow the subconscious to show us our path in this lifetime. Kala is a part of every aspect of life, as you know, no matter how we use Kala in our life to express ourselves, be it through clothing, flowers, furnishing, crystal, oils, or food, the Kala we choose will have an effect on us and also an effect on the people who are looking at us. For example, if you're a bit low in energy and you want to boost yourself, so you take a red jumper, for example, it's good for your own energy, but people who are looking at you could see only the aggressive side of red and started to attack you, and you wonder what's going on. So you have to be careful which color you choose when you go for an interview, for example. Don't put red. Okay, so I got 79 different bottles from 0 to 78, and it's like the color, the tarot card. Each color is connected to a tarot. So I can try to show you, I don't know if I can show you a PowerPoint. Would
oh,
it work?
yes, that would be really, really good. And thank you for wearing that beautiful pink color. For those who don't know, where Pascale lives is 2 degrees this morning. It's a very chilly place out in the Western Plains. Oh, well done. Fantastic.
So everybody can see it. So why do we need an upward spiral consultation? Maybe we feel confused. Maybe we feel sick of not knowing where we are going in life. Maybe we are putting the blame on others, which is much easier, really. Having trouble sleeping or always apologizing for everything and everyone. Upward spiral gives a sense of self-responsibility. And here I lost you. Do you still see it?
Yes, yes. Uh-huh.
Self-value and positive power back to the individual. So this is how it works. We select your favorite 12 colors. The first 3 colors show our purpose in life. The next 3 colors show our excuses and blockage. And the next 3 colors show where we are now. The last 3 colors show the tendency towards the future, which is great because it shows that we can actually change. I believe to free will to some extent, but sometimes we can also change the direction. If your first column is very different from the last one, it means you are losing the plot a little bit. So it's time to reconnect with why I'm doing this. So you see, that's what it works like. The color matrix. So there are 3 columns. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. But on the lower row as well, you can have the subconscious, the conscious level, and the higher self level. So your very first number, which is at the base of the first column, it's what you bring back from the past. It could be from the recent past, it could be from previous life, it could be from childhood, but it could be also from your DNA. What are you here to heal? The family ancestry. So the very first bottle is the most important one, and it is on the subconscious level. The second one is your conscious level. You know you came here for a specific purpose. And the third one is your higher self, your soul, who is going to help you to move on into what you are supposed to do. On the second column, your number 4 is the main blockage. You know, what's your excuse for not moving up, like in your first column? And on a conscious level, you know it is a blockage. For example, if you have blue, or in your first column, blue is communication. Blue is the throat chakra. So if you have also blue in 4, number 4, obviously you know you are good at speaking, but it's risky. You know, you have to find the right place, the right time, because you are going not to be accepted for what you have to say. So a lot of people block the throat chakra not to have any problem with others. And that's very, very frequent. Now, if you have read, for example, in number 4, your main excuse would be, oh, if I had the money, I would do that. And of course, we all have the money for everything else, but for our spiritual journey. Typical, you know. Anyway, so number 6, on the 6th position, it's where you are now. And that's interesting because it's like a kick in the bum. You know what are you waiting? What's going on at the moment? Why are you facing this situation? And then you have a progression in life, 7, 8, and 9. And then where you are heading in the future, 10, 11, and 12. So on each row, the color can be read vertically, as I just said, but also horizontally by rows. So as I just said before, you can have the lower row, which is the subconscious, the middle row, which is the conscious level, and the top row, which is a higher self level. So it's not only colors, I also created 14 galactic elixir. Here they are. And each one corresponds to a color. So at the end of the consultation, we look at which color is missing. Because it's interesting as well that we are really good at avoiding things. And so if you have, for example, no yellow, we can ask yourself, where is the joy of living? If we have no red, how come your energy is so depleted at the moment? Which is quite normal in winter here anyway. Anyway, you see, so the missing color can be replaced with the galactic elixir of this specific color. And there are then 14 of them. And each color is also connected to a specific tarot card, which is allow us to discover who we are on a psychological and the emotional level, which prompt changes on the physical level. So that's what it is. Okay. So how do I go back now to the people?
Just stop
I
sharing.
lost.
So you need that little.
I don't have the screen anymore. Ah,
Oh,
yeah, here it is.
you just press stop sharing down there. Can you see that one? I think maybe
Ah,
I.
yeah.
Okay, well done. That's a fascinatingly evolved system that you've created there, and I'm very curious to know how. Where did that come from? Was that from a
Okay.
teacher of yours, or was it downloaded, or how?
Yes, I started with a group called Orasoma in 1991 in England. And it was fascinating because I started to read a book by Vicky Wall. And I was not at all, I didn't know anything about color therapy. And I read the book and I thought, that's my stuff. I have to do it. And it was urgent. I never ever seen anything like this. And straight away, I inherited some money from an auntie. So I could go to England and do the, and first I wrote a letter to Vicky Wall,
Mm.
the writer of the book, and I just received a message saying Vicky just passed away.
Oh,
And I thought, oh my gosh, she contacted me from spirit. It was like a deep past memory, you know. I knew her. It's like I had to meet her, and I met her through the book.
wow.
And it was, so I went to England, and it was a little bit of a turmoil because she just passed away, so they didn't know what to do. The bottles didn't have any numbers. It was a huge mess. And
Okay.
I was in the first class. And as soon as I started the class, they asked me to teach in Victoria. And it was like if I went 3 times or more than 3 times, level 1, level 2, teacher course. I went all these courses, and some were in Egypt, in Crete, in Bali. It was really fantastic. It changed my whole life because I was looking for a direction in life. I was a radio announcer for Radio Australia, and suddenly I find myself in a totally new world. And I had to choose at some stage. And I thought, no, 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 I love my job because it's a good safety, good money and everything. But of course, Radio Australia closed down, so I had to do it. So it was like, okay, I will become a therapist full time, which was absolutely scary. But I became also the director of Orasoma Victoria with my husband, which was nothing at all involved with the Kala therapy. But this company really like men, and they didn't want women. And the women were the slaves, and the men got the money. It was very weird. So after a lot of disagreement, I thought I can't stay in a company which I criticize everything together, And so in 2001, I left and I created this technique with all the critiques I did through the years.
Wow. Okay. So it was like an evolution of Orasoma, more or less.
Yes.
And is Orasoma still going strong out there?
Not at all, because men focus on money, so it became a money, money, money,
Oh,
and lots of all the oldies, all the women of the first classes
yes.
have been expelled. They didn't want us anymore,
Wow.
because we were too intuitive, and they don't want the intuitive. So these days, you look at the bottle and you say, "Oh, beautiful. What do you think it could mean?" You don't say anything. You don't talk about previous life because it could be traumatic. You don't talk about childhood because it is dangerous. So I thought it's disappearing. It's a pity, really. It's such an amazing technique, and it has been totally spoiled. It's a great pity.
Well, then you have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, madam. You know, to bring that out.
But
Yeah, it's
it's
very
easy to
nice.
proclaim, it's easy to advertise for a product which is not yours. But as soon as it's yours, it's like, I'm not sure I can do it. I'm not sure it's good enough, and so on. So it was a lot of, I don't know, I don't think I can do it. So for many years, I stay quiet. And it's only now, as it's about time at my age to move on, really.
Yes. And the world needs you. You know, there's so much healing going on at the moment. I think it's unfortunate that old paradigm where everything comes down to a monetary choice rather than the actual
Ah,
healing. And I think perhaps all of us who have been in this field for a while have watched the inoculation that's happened when big business gets interested. You know, as soon as that figure came out that the wellness industry was worth 4 trillion, apparently now it's worth 6.2 trillion. Then everybody who was concerned with making a buck came in, and I watched the whole yoga world, the whole corporate health world become inoculated with people who were
very weird.
less involved in healing than the money. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
So anyway, I can show you a little bit the color itself. I have another, and it's called the Polarity of color.
Please.
So can you see?
Yes, that's beautiful.
Yes. Mm. It's a friend of mine from Orasoma who created this year. And I thought, oh, beautiful, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, as you know, each color has a positive and a negative aspect, like the yin and the yang. So, for example, red is a life ray. It's a color of strength, life force, and vitality, as well as warmth. But on the negative side, it will show anger, stress, and frustration. So, when I talk on the negative side, I mean on the second column, your number 4 or 5 or 6. That's what you will show.
Mm, mm,
Pink is also red with lots of white into it, and
mm,
it's called the unconditional love ray. And it's a color for compassion and love, understanding and caring.
mm,
Pink is feminine. It could show a need for love or smother love, which is interesting when a lot of women come for a consultation and they wear a lot of pink. You know, like the girl, what was her name, who wrote a teenage novel, and she was always wearing pink. It's because they're scared to age. You know, we don't want to get old. Unfortunately, it's hard to avoid.
Almost
So
impossible.
orange, it's a wisdom ray, and it's connected to the spleen chakra. It's the seat of the memory bank. Deep insight, awareness and bliss, energized wisdom and aspiration. It is also attributed to trauma and shock, be it past or present, emotional or physical. In its negative state, it's associated with deep fear. So, for example, if your first bottle would be orange, it actually shows that you have an issue you need to deal with straight away. You ignore the past. It's now. Something happened to you. Let's deal with it now. And it's interesting when children choose that color first, because it's like, how are we going to tell that child? How can they express themselves to say something is really wrong, in their life? And it's really interesting. So you give them the orange galactic elixir. I had a little boy who came and he had 3 oranges. And I gave him one vial and he broke it straight away. So I gave him another one. Again, he broke it. So I thought, oh my gosh, he's so much in need of that color, you know? And yeah, he went better because of that.
Mm.
So I can't, I lost it. Yellow is the logic and joy ray. It's connected to the solar plexus chakra, the I am center. It stimulates the intellect, the color of sunshine, joy, and happiness. It indicates a quest for enlightenment. And you see, this little person she's called Joy. Apparently, it's from a film for young people. And I have a student who is helping me at the moment to understand my computer a little bit better. And she said, you need to put that one for Joy. And so she did. On
Legend.
the negative side, it could show anxiety, jealousy, suspicion, nervousness, lack of assimilation, and fear. It's interesting that in French, for example, yellow is jealousy, when in English it's going to be green. Green will be jealousy. So, for example, if you are French, you never give yellow roses to your girlfriend, or it shows you you are not faithful. So green is a balance ray. It's connected to the heart chakra and it denotes harmony and balance. It represents the emotions, helps to make decisions and find truth. It is associated with nature, of course, and natural therapies, of course. On the shadow side, it shows difficulties in decision making and lacking direction. It also denotes, as we said before with the yellow, envy, jealousy, or resentment. Turquoise, it's creativity. Turquoise represents creative communication from the heart and artistic abilities. Going with the flow. It is a color of one to many compared to the blue, which is one to one. And turquoise, when you give a talk, for example, like this little scarf, it's when you talk to people, it helps the communication. You reach them at the right level. It's also, of course, computer and silicon chips. It helps in public speaking. It's obviously connected with Atlantis. And on a negative level, it could indicate creative blocks, misuse of power, and superficiality. I can see at the moment, for example, with the media, an enormous amount of manipulative communication. It's very hard to believe the news these days because it's they show you something instead of showing you something else. So we are distracted to what's going on. So it helps to be a journalist because I have been doing exactly this. Blue is a peace ray. It's the seat of the throat chakra, bringing with it peace and communication. As we said before, one-to-one communication. But on the negative side, blue shows authority, blockages in communication, and also separation, isolation, discontentment, and a need for peace. If a woman, for example, have lots of blue in her first column, it shows that her parents thought they were going to have a boy, and therefore they are going to try to please them by every mean in being tomboys. He's doing things a girl should not be doing. And it's interesting that they act as male instead of generally they have pink in second position as well. Until they realize that being a female in this lifetime is actually our strength. Thanks God we are women, because we can have a vision, a larger vision of what's going on around us. That's what I believe. Royal blue indigo is intuitive ray. It's connected to the third eye. It indicates deep spirituality, healing, and ESP qualities such as clairvoyance, clairaudience, and meditation. But on a negative level, it could indicate deep depression, extreme introversion, difficulties in expression, and an extreme form of dependency. Generally, when people have royal blue as a blockage, it means they come from somewhere else in the universe and they have difficulties accepting they incarnate on Earth this lifetime. But they have free will, they agree to do it. So it's a bit late to say, can I change my mind? And I had a young man who tried, I think 4 or 5 times to kill himself because he couldn't accept this life. And it's only when he met a girl who was like him that she took him to the spiritual journey, and together they are moving on. And it was interesting that the mother had breast cancer at some stage, and he suddenly realized he could lose her. And he realized the damage he did to the mom in trying to kill himself all the time. So that was a really very important lesson in his life. Violet is a spiritual ray. It relates to the crown chakra. It is healing and transformation. It helps develop intuition, concentration, and meditation. But negatively, it could indicate depression, aloofness, and grief, as well as procrastination. I'm strongly working with Saint Germain, the master healer, the master alchemist, because I think at this time in life, we are ascending. We have to move on, and it's no choice. And I started a class this week, and all the students have Saint Germain in their selection. And I thought, oh yeah, that's interesting, because no, we have to move on. They chose that class to be able to move on. Nobody can do it for them. It's personal issues, and I was really ecstatic. Okay, so magenta, it's love from above. It's love merged into service, love from the divine, love from that know as conscious awareness. But on a negative level, it could indicate perfectionism, over attachment to the little things in life, and compulsion, such as an obsessive need for cleanliness. And I think that's it. So,
Wow.
if you have any question,
It's entirely beautiful to be exposed to colors this early in the morning. It's quite, I don't know how you're feeling, Jackie May or Martine, but I love that just having colors, talking about colors and being in colors, it's really quite special. Yeah, thank
really
you.
exciting. I mean, when you discover the gentle push Kala creates in her life. When I started, I had a French friend in Victoria, who was, doing at the skin tone and which color you should wear. And I was always in a navy blue. And she said, you should wear a little bit of pink. And I said, I hate pink, because my childhood bedroom was all pink because I was the only girl. I hated it. And so she bought me a t-shirt, a pink t-shirt. And, people would smile to me in the street. And I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't realize such power of a color. So that's the way I started as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, so please, Martine and Jackie May, spring into this conversation. Love to hear.
Yeah, just following up on the pink, I heard this amazing experiment they did in the States where they painted the walls of the prison inside the cells in
Yes,
pink.
yes.
And then the violence dropped by 70%.
Yes, it's
So
true,
it's
because
very powerful.
yeah, the whole room was not pink, but half of the walls were pink. And it's true, it was very much to slow down the violence within themselves. It's true.
Mm, mm.
And I remember in Sydney some time ago, some years ago, they painted all the trains inside bright yellow. It was really strong. And the yellow is also a mental energy, right? And we are so much in the
Yes.
head. It was really uncomfortable being in the train with this color.
Why did they choose that, Martine?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Because maybe in feng shui, it's good to stimulate the intellect, but you have to be careful that people with dementia or Alzheimer disease will choose a lot of yellow. So if you are into depression and you go into that train, I don't think it's a good idea because it will stimulate the foolishness in the head.
I think, and everybody that's been in Sydney lately knows how crazy that place is. So it would really bring on the craziness to do that. Yeah.
Could be,
I-
yes.
Do you know, do color therapists get employed by larger organizations out there to give color consultations, like setting up offices or just,
It depends. I think it's more feng shui.
Mm.
People will go into feng shui for to choose the right colors, which is a little bit different from a psychological view. But I have a lot of students who are doing feng shui as well.
Huh.
And I used to teach in Melbourne at the International College of Environmental Studies. So it was really interesting as well.
Fascinating. So if you were to write this beautiful book again, would you say exactly the same thing? Do you love it as it is? Because
Uh,
when
I
did you
change all
publish
the
this?
time. So the first time when I was with Orasoma, it's really weird the way it happens because I was invited to a party, a 21st birthday party in Victoria. And my friend said, this woman is an editor for Penguin, and they would like someone to write a book about color therapy. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not sure I can do it in English. So I asked a friend who was not at all a color therapist to help me to put the books together.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it was mostly published under her name because she was called Julie Gunstone with a J, and mine was with a O. So I went in second position when she was not even a color therapist. But anyway, I thought, leave my ego behind. It doesn't matter. But I resented it.
So did that book get published by Penguin?
Yes, it was published by Penguin, and unfortunately, they stopped because we only sold 5,000, which I thought was not too bad.
No.
But no, you can still find it on out of print books.
Okay. All right.
And so I rewrote it when I left Orasoma. I rewrote it, and I think it was that one. And no, I wrote another one with Ex Libris. And Ex Libris was again totally about money. They didn't want to sell the books and it was too expensive. So I let go and I self-published this one.
Self-published. And how have you gone with promoting it then?
Very poorly.
Let us
But
help
I
you.
think it is through Amazon.
Yeah.
And but I don't have any feedback or anything.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. I wrote a few books after that, like with my spiritual development class. It's 10 weeks, so each week is a chapter of the book. And I wrote recently a book about the tree of life, the Kabbalah, which is what I love most as well, showing how the bottle connect to the tree of life and
Mm.
how we can understand who we are if we walk on the tree of life.
Wow, I'm really looking forward to talking about that some more one day. Fascinating. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? So many of the authors that have joined us have it's been a download. It's definitely come through them and come out and been, it's they give full attribute to the ancestors and the archangels and whoever else is out there in the great beyond of bringing that through them. Yeah, really, really.
Because I didn't want to write books, and it's like every time when a spirit says, "Oh, this one would be good," and so I have to do it, and I thought it's really the reluctant writer. I don't like writing books, and so I also write my biography. And I thought, if I write my biography, I know my husband straight away will want to write his own. And so I waited 2 years. And after 2 years, I thought, okay, I do it. And straight away said, oh, I'm writing mine too. So
Really.
just to prove he was better than me, of course.
And who won?
I think he did because mine, I paid for an editor, and this woman accepted the money, but she was very sick, and actually she died, and the book has been very, very poorly edited. So, yeah, so that
Yeah,
happened.
what to do. And Jackie May, have you got any questions or thoughts over there?
Oh, lots of thoughts, probably too many. I remember reading Vicky Wall's book as well, many years
Lovely.
ago, and I had a consultation with an aura soma practitioner back in the 90s. So it was
Who
interesting to
was
hear
that?
you talk about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pascale, but Vicky Wall, who developed aura soma, she was blind. Is that right?
Yes, she was. I mean, not technically blind, but I
Mhm.
think she could see. She couldn't see, but it was blur. But she all came
Mm.
from channeling for sure.
That's right,
Amazing.
which is why it was so surprising to hear that then all of a sudden they didn't want the intuitive aspect of, working with color and the vibration of color to actually come through
Yes.
aura soma. So that's quite sad. But, I find what you've developed here fascinating in regards to the different levels of consciousness and then how that sort of also relates to the tarot. It sounds like just fascinating system. So you're actually teaching the process now. Do you still do consultations yourself or?
Yes, I do it through Zoom. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And it's consultation, it's $80.
Okay. And how does that happen with the bottles? Do you show the
So
individuals?
I send you a list of all the colors, and you
Okay.
choose your 12 favorite colors, but it works also with numbers. If you choose your numbers between 0 and 79, it's your subconscious who choose as well, just like the colors. So it's
Yes.
always right. I never
Okay.
worry about the consultation because people can't
Right.
lie, so it's the soul
Yes.
who speak to you. So
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Very interesting. I'd like to try that, I think.
thank you, Jackie.
Yes.
Just very quickly from a mental health perspective, I actually did a little bit of color therapy a while ago. And one thing that they say is that when a person becomes quite despondent or depressed, they lose a lot of color out of their lives.
Mm.
And so to
Which is a
work
bit
with bringing,
it's a bit difficult because when you live in a city, you
mm,
suddenly lose color. You are black
mm,
or white, and it's
mm,
amazing that if you lose contact with nature, you lose contact
yes,
with colors. And
yes,
unfortunately, people want to be in cities, and they
mhm,
don't realize that they are missing the point. You know?
yes, true.
Yeah.
But in regards to even the clothes they wear, um,
Yes.
what they have around them, I often recommend to people that they go out and buy a whole lot of colourful cushions, but to
Yes.
understand which colours would best, serve them or work for them to start to lift them. Um, that'd be, even making it more intuitive, more specific, more um, helpful, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
indeed.
it's deeply disturbing, isn't it, in the city, how many people wear grey and black and
Yeah.
Yes.
beige and that olive green and that
Yes.
brown and that white. And so it's just like, wow, where is the palette gone, Where's the joy in here?
Even in the
Mm.
houses, every room is black or white. How
Mm.
depressing could that be? Or gray, you
Yes.
know?
Mm.
Not,
Mm.
not fun. Well, Pascal, you're waging, a really important war here, a positive war, to try and bring color back. And we're going to find ways to get your word out there, and we'll find ways to play. So you and I will work on that. And would really appreciate you sharing all that you've shared. It was like a lesson that I wasn't expecting, actually. I was expecting to talk about the book, but I've come away with more knowledge. Direct
Lovely.
transmission. So thank you. And is there any final things that you, Martine, or Jackie May, or Pascal would like to say?
Ah,
Just also thank you.
thank you so much. Yeah, that was so
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah. We
Thank you
will
very much.
explore this. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Pascal, for sharing your deep knowledge. And thank you for spending so many years in the field, like it's a lot of years. And I
It's
really hope
crazy.
that we can encourage you to become a mentor for other therapists after, 3 decades. I think we need to tap into the knowledge levels that you're holding and the deep wisdom. So 1,000 thanks. And I hope everybody gets encouraged to go out and buy this book. It's the most fabulous scientific book too. It's got all kinds of background about how color works in the world and what vibration is. So I wasn't expecting that level of knowledge, but I felt much smarter after it. I really appreciate
And
that.
people can order from me. This book, I can send it to them. I got plenty here.
Okay. All right.
Will do.
And I think they may have run out on Amazon. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but I think we've created the
No,
link.
it's better through me. It's better through me.
Okay.
Through my website, which is changing soon anyway.
Okay, beautiful. An upward spiral. Off we go. I love that idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for
Enjoy
joining
the day.
us. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.